I'm going to take you on a tour of my little off-grid homestead. I guess the first thing I'd like to say is that there's a difference between being off-grid and being a homestead. You can be a homestead and not be off-grid, and you can be off-grid and not be a homestead. I am doing both. This is actually the center between the two prefab buildings that I bought. I still have dirt floors in here. They're covered with a tarp and then with area rugs on top of it. The goal as an off-grid homesteader is to become as sustainable as possible and have very little reliance on any sort of entity other than myself. These two buildings, this used to be our courtyard between the two houses, and we had bonfires out here. And now we built this wall back here. Trying to stay out of the light. This is our earth bag wall. We stacked earth bags that we filled with dirt here, and then we put an adobe covering over the top of them. It retains the heat from the wood stove and kind of bounces it back to us, so it helps with the heating. I'll explain more about the adobe mixture that we used when I take you outside to show you. But this is a really unique feature of the house. I know a lot of people are interested in earth bag structures. Our roof is made of tin. It's got the greenhouse paneling and then tin. It's not exactly the most heat. It's not very good for insulation, but this is one of the things about homesteading that I'd like to say is that, you know, you take what you have and you do the best with it that you can. This is not the way I want it to be at the end, but every little baby step is one more step that I make towards sustainability. This is where I sleep in the wintertime because it's easier to tend the fire. I'll show you the bedroom where I sleep in the spring when it's warmer, but it's just easier to be out here. And then I have the wood siding on the front and the door. We cut this hole to the kitchen. So we just decided to make a door in the side of the cabin, and this is the guest bedroom. It's also the commode. That's my compostable toilet. It's got two lofts in here. And then it's got its own private entrance. That's my entire solar battery bank. My inverter is on the wall. I have 9 panels outside. It supports my refrigerator, a freezer. When I have my food truck here, it supports the food truck. And these batteries, if properly maintained, which they're self-regulating, I don't have to add water to them or anything, will last me about 20 years. And again, with the kitchen, we just cut a big hole in the wall. This was actually where we were for the first year that we were here. It was pretty tight quarters. It's 12 by 16, but now it's the kitchen. And I have a propane stove. This used to be my bedroom up there. I'm glad that I'm not in there anymore. But that's all my canned goods, and I don't know, this is probably my favorite place in the cabin. I did want to mention that if you are looking for an inexpensive way to cover your walls and make it look rustic, if you have access to a sawmill next by you, I bought these. These are the skins off the wood that they use for lumber. They sell them pretty cheap. I got mine for $75 a cord, and then I just cut them to size. And for $75 a cord, I've covered a lot of my house for less than $300, and it looks really authentic, and it looks like I have a log cabin on the inside, even if I don't. This is the front of my cabin. We've added each part on in portions. We started off with this cabin over here. We added the sliding glass door, and then we purchased this cabin. And then we built the area between. The first layer of the walls that we're putting up on the shed, I'm a baker, I'm a chef, so I call it the crumb coat. It kind of holds everything in. And then we'll be putting a better layer of adobe on top of it. This is going to be the shower house. Right now it's just basically my pantry and my storage. It's where the cats hang out when the sun's coming in the windows. These are the tire bales that will be used to make the walls of my earth ship. They each weigh a ton. They are 4 foot by 5 foot by 2.5 feet. They have an R value of 100 before I even put anything on top of them. And then over here, facing south, is my 9-panel solar system. I also have a yurt and a work shed. This is the camper that we lived in for the first 3 years we were out here. That's my food truck over there in the corner. This is my view. It's kind of cloudy today, but it's an unreal view. That's about 2 cords of wood. I go through anywhere between 6 and 10 cords every season. It's been pretty mild this year, so I'm only on my the beginning of my 5th cord. See the walls here? Like if you get up close, you can see the that we made the walls, and we had to put several layers on. With walls like this, you have to do lots of upkeep, but I like the way it looks and the fact that I can use the resources here on my land. That's Emma, and this is Valkyrie, and that's Odin. Odin! This is what I call the reception area for the goats and the chickens and the turkeys. When I have them, I dispatched the turkeys last season, so they're in my freezer now. But that's Turk and Nacho, and this is where they hang out in the morning. This is where I give them water. My son, who was 14 at the time, and I built this all ourselves. And I'll show you the rest. This is the inside portion. This is where they sleep at night. I have the ability to lock shut the back door and the front door, so it gives them a dry, breeze-free area to stay. And then I'll show you the back. They have a whole bigger area in the back where they can run and play. It's essential to have a utility trailer. That's my garbage shed so the coyotes don't get into my garbage before I take it to the dump. And this is the backyard. Yes, my goats have a teeter-totter and a trampoline. They're kind of spoiled. They don't know they're goats. They think they're dogs. But this is where they hang out most of the time when the sun is shining. They actually have more living space than we do.